Welcome back to another episode of the Higher Ed Podcast. I'm your host, Kamar D. Jarnett. I'm flying solo again today. We got a great, energetic, super enthusiastic guest. Jen Lyles is with us. Jen, we're excited to have you. Could you introduce yourself to the audience and maybe give them a little bit of your origin story if you could?
Sure. Thanks for having me so much. My name is Jen Lyles. I work for Beauty Schools Marketing Group. I'm their executive director, and we
Sure.
primarily work with beauty schools. I personally have been in the beauty school space forever, since 2011. So I started with the Association for Beauty Schools. I moved into working with a beauty school chain directly. I
Nice.
won Best Beauty School Marketer in the nation.
Oh,
I've won a
wow.
couple awards while I was there, and then I started my own consulting business. So I would teach
Nice.
schools how to replicate my success in marketing and admissions. And then Beauty Schools Marketing Group found me and really wanted me to help grow their business, which we're a third-party lead gen service.
Okay.
And I've been doing that now for 4 years. And yeah, that's primarily how I work in this space. I go to all the events. I know a lot of the people in this space, but I'm
Yep.
kind of known as like the beauty school girl. That's my niche.
Absolutely. So when did you first kind of fall in love with higher ed and the beauty school and that type of education?
I mean, it's such a great question. That actually wasn't my background. I went to school for journalism and I was a news reporter for CBS.
Okay.
So ever
Oh,
since I was a
wow.
little girl, yeah, I wanted to be Connie Chung, Barbara Walters. Like that's
Yes.
always what I wanted to do. And then
Sure.
I did it and it just wasn't satisfying. And
Oh, wow.
so my husband and I decided to up and move our lives from Alabama to Phoenix, Arizona. And I
Oh,
took a job at the American Association of Cosmetology Schools. And it was like a director of communications. And because my background was in journalism and communications, I thought it would be a good fit. I didn't really know what I was getting into with higher ed. I didn't like go in looking for this, but I fell in love with
absolutely.
vocational education. Short programs that got people to work right away so they could start earning money in a passion that they loved. And having been to a 4 year university myself, a
Sure.
lot of people I graduated with were not using their degrees. They weren't passionate about the jobs. And I just saw something different specifically with beauty schools, but also all career education that I just fell in love with.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it seems from everything that I've seen and heard, you've kind of taken this and just ran with it. Was it maybe just you kind of, matching your skill set with what the industry needed? Was it a particular graduate that just made you just say, "Oh, my passion is just inflated so much more."
It was my age. So I came in my 20s and I'm a millennial. And
Sure.
what I noticed specifically about beauty education, and again, a lot of career training, is that kids aren't coming straight out of high school and coming to these schools. They are second career, right?
Right.
Like they're servers, they're teachers, they're nurses, and they're doing something they don't like, or they dropped out of college and they're looking for a passion. And I, as a millennial, I'm like, all these schools are marketing beauty schools wrong. Like I saw it very early in
Ah,
my career. I was like, they need to be speaking millennial language. So
right.
when I was a marketing director, one of my very first campaigns I did was a meme campaign, and memes were new to the scene. Like no one
Sure.
was like, no one was turning, now everyone does it, but ads that were memes. And I was one of the first people to do that. And I was just like trying to market to a different generation when everyone historically had been trying to recruit high school students.
Sure.
And that worked. And my first year as marketing director, we increased enrollment by 38%. And it was
Oh,
because,
wow.
yeah, it was because I was a millennial and I knew how to speak to millennials. And so now in my career, fast forward 15 years, that's not who's enrolling. It is, but for the majority, it's Gen Z.
Sure.
So, I've done a lot of deep dive research. I've always just been really interested in buying habits, like why people buy something. And I've always loved commercials. Like when I was a little kid, I think I was 10, I came up with a Nike commercial in my head. Like I've always been really into marketing.
Wow.
And so, yeah, now today in my career, I'm able to teach people, okay, millennials were one thing, Gen Z is very different. How can we change how we speak to them or how we
Sure.
market to them? And, keep an eye out for me because in 10 years, I'll be teaching you how to do that with Gen Alpha.
Absolutely. So you're always looking forward, right? The next generation, the
Yes.
next generation, the next generation. How have you been able to bring, some of those ideas, thoughts, that forward thinking to, yeah, because two aspects, right? Admissions and marketing. Let's start with admissions. How have you been able to bring it to admissions?
Really the way you speak to them. So, one thing about Gen Z, so you know, they are the most depressed and anxious generation. And
Ah,
so, because of that, they have phone anxiety. And so, admissions teams have these phone scripts that they've been working on for 10 years. These kids aren't answering the phone. They don't want to get on the phone with you. And a lot of the text messages that the admissions reps send are, hey, when do you have time to jump on the phone?
right.
And they don't want to talk on the phone. And so
Sure.
one of the things I'm able to bring to admissions teams is the background and skill set of how do you create text messages that are engaging, that teach a little bit, that get them to respond. Another thing about Gen Z, with admissions is they're afraid to show up for tours. Again, anxiety. They're
Ah,
afraid to
okay.
park. Like, where do I park? I've never been there before. So I tell people, always tell them the parking situation ahead of time. Send them an email outlining everything to expect. They need a checklist. They're anxious, and anxious people in general don't like surprises. And
Okay.
so you have to give them the blueprint. This is what to expect on the tour. This is where you park on the tour. When you walk in the door, turn left. You will see a big desk. Go up to it. Like, give them very specific instructions, and that will bring down their anxiety. And honestly, I've been doing trainings with schools all across the country, and they're seeing major success by just, again, not completely overhauling everything,
Right.
but just tweaking it to better serve the student.
Wow. Wow. So and that I mean that definitely is generational in the sense of how you're presenting that because a lot of people would never think of how important, those details could actually be.
Yeah.
And so how do you, I guess, reimagine marketing as well?
Yeah. So, from a marketing perspective, millennials like choices.
Sure.
Okay. So we love the Cheesecake Factory because the
Right.
menu is so big. Gen Z doesn't. When you give them too many choices, they have what's called decision paralysis. They would rather be told, do one of these three things. Don't give them too many options. And so when it comes from a marketing perspective, I'll just take someone's website, for example, a school's website. When you have too many calls to action, here's a chat, call us, text us, here's a form, apply now. Like, all these calls to action, they don't know what to do. There's too many choices, which every single time our company A B tests, split tests, marketing aspects of like calls to
Wow.
action, less wins every time with Gen Z. So being very clear about, here's a form, fill it out, or you can call us. That's it. Those are your only two options. Again, you give them
Wow.
too many options, they're not going to do anything. Another thing marketing wise is Gen Z is very into videos. So I'm very pro video. I'm very like, get on TikTok, start sharing your
Sure.
story. They love short snippets. They don't want to read long text. So even take your website or your emails, for example. I'm not telling you to get rid of it because SEO wise, you should keep them. But what you should accompany everything with is short little videos that are very conversational and easy to watch.
Wow. So let me ask you this. So it seems like it's a lot that schools just aren't getting, they don't understand. Um, do you see, higher ed, beauty schools moving towards doing this, or are many of them resistant?
A lot of schools are resistant, and it really just comes down to they don't have the time to overhaul what they've been doing all these
Sure.
years. I don't think they're lazy. I don't think that that's what's going on. I think schools are busy with developing better curriculum, trying to understand why retention is low. There's a major teacher shortage across the country. They're trying to figure out so much that, like, to rewrite a full marketing and admissions system, that's just a lot of work.
Right, right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I will tell you, it works better with smaller schools. It works
Sure.
better with a school that can just be like, cool, well, I can easily go into my CRM and change what my text messages say. When it's multi-campus, like 70 campuses or even like
Sure.
30 campuses, now you got to train all these reps to do it a whole new way, give them all new scripts, change your CRM. That's hard to do.
Right. So
So
just
definitely easier for the smaller schools.
Absolutely. So agility is extremely important, especially
Yeah.
in this day and age. So when you talk about the, I guess TikTok and Threads, how important are these vehicles moving forward?
Well, the latest stat shows that 51% of Gen Z is ditching Google and using TikTok as a search engine. So I
Wow.
think we need to stop looking at TikTok as a social media platform.
Okay.
It is really becoming a search engine. And what do you do with search engines? You feed information into it so that you rank higher in the search results.
Sure.
And schools are very focused on like, how can we go viral? Let's do a cute little lip sync. That's great. You should absolutely do that. That makes you relevant. That makes me want to follow you. That makes me think you're cool. Like 100% do that. But what schools need to be doing is start building up a library on Instagram Reels and on TikTok that is educational and is SEO friendly.
Oh
So
wow.
really sharing with people information about your school, about your programs, how to apply, what financial aid is. You need to be sharing all that so that when someone goes to the search bar on TikTok and they search cosmetology program New York, you show up and you're
Wow.
giving really relevant information.
Sure. Okay. So I gotta ask, like, how did you figure all of this stuff out? Like, I mean, was it just experience? Was it studying? I mean, because this is exciting information for sure.
I'm a forever student. That is what
Gotcha.
I do. And I am not someone who just learned something 15 years ago and decides to go with it. And unfortunately, that's a lot of what I see, especially when I go to conferences and I sit in breakout sessions. I'm often disappointed that I'm hearing the same thing regurgitated 50 different ways. I like to think that I am innovative because I'm a constant learner. What is new? What is out there? And yeah, I'm having to do it myself. Like, for example, TikTok. I didn't know anyone on TikTok.
Sure.
And in 2020, it became the most downloadable app. And it was because of COVID, right? We were all stuck in our house and we all needed the
Wow.
entertainment. So everyone downloaded it. I downloaded it in March of 2020 with most of America. And I very quickly saw the power behind it, and no one else did. And I mean, I'm gonna be not bitter. What's a better word? Angry? I don't know. But just because I was on LinkedIn 5 years ago telling people, get on here. This is where your students are. Like, this is where the magic is. Get on here right now. And no one listened to me. I try to
Wow.
create a program to try to get people, like I would teach them. No, like no one signed up. No one wanted to be a part of it. And now it's 2025. And it's the number one thing people ask me. It's the number one thing people message me about on LinkedIn. It's the number one thing people ask me when I come to events. They always want to sign up for my webinars, my breakout sessions with TikTok, because not a lot of people are talking about it. And I'm happy to share things now, but I'm also frustrated because I'm like, y'all, for 5 years, I was telling y'all to get on here. Where were you?
Sure.
You could have been
Right.
ahead of the curve and no one was listening to me. I think everyone just thought it was a fad and it was going to go away. But people said the same thing about Facebook and Instagram. And I was a marketer back then. And I was
Sure.
like, this is not a fad. And again, you got to get on, even if it is a fad, get on board. And if it goes away, okay, jump on the next thing. That's what we have to do in marketing. You have to pivot.
Right. Are there any additional trends that you see maybe that people haven't like the same way that you were kind of prophetic with Facebook and things like that? Is there anything else you see kind of coming down the pike that you're willing to share? I mean, I know some you might keep to yourself, but is there anything you want
Yeah.
you
Online selling is the
Okay.
future. It
Sure.
is the future. And so, um, right now it is very big in China and they are going online live selling. Think QVC, but online. Okay.
Got
So
you.
like showing products, affiliate marketing. Okay. That is the future of marketing is affiliate marketing. And so even now, I'm just starting to tell schools find graduates who are making money online and bring them in. Add
Wow.
things like this to your curriculum. All the stats are showing that a giant percentage of Gen Z, not just beauty school, I'm talking about Gen Z across the board, an
Sure.
entire generation, they want to be influencers. They want to make money on YouTube, they want
Yep.
to make money on TikTok. And I don't know a school teaching it. Do you? Do you
Wow.
know any
Yeah.
schools teaching it?
No, I don't. I don't.
Why? This is what they want. This is what I'm talking about is that like I've been saying now for a year, y'all have got to start adding this to your curriculum. You are enrolling, and I don't care what program you teach, okay?
Sure.
Let's say you teach an HVAC program. They could be recommending different things to you selling wise, where an HVAC student could be making money online selling the shoes they wear for work. Like recommending these
Right.
are my top three. I'm on my feet all day long. These are my favorite pair of shoes. Even just having someone say that, and he gets money every time someone clicks that link. Like we need to be teaching these kids what they want to be learning. And instead,
Absolutely.
we're like, here's our program that we wrote 15 years ago and have never changed. We got to
Abs-
change.
yeah. No, that segue into kind of one of the topics I've been talking about on a lot of our recordings recently is I did a recording with a doctor, Irma Becerra. She works at Marymount College in DC. And one of the things she talked about is how, maybe since COVID, it seems like people have been, less excited about higher ed or, kind of feeling like higher ed has to prove its value, right? And, she loves education. And her quote was, if you tell me that education isn't for everyone, then point out the person that doesn't need education, right? Regardless if it's beauty, if it's HVAC, if it's,
Yeah.
getting your doctor, right, right. So I'm curious, like, how do you think about that? And then how do you think maybe the disconnect from all of these things that you're observing and pointing out is maybe contributing to a disconnect in terms of the value of higher ed? Does that make
I,
sense?
yeah, I mean, listen, I feel like people understand the value of education and giving people what they're wanting, right?
Sure.
Like we're like I said at the beginning, I'm a constant learner. I love
Right.
being a student. I want to, and it sounds like that person you interviewed, it was the exact same thing. She was saying there's something out there that everyone can learn.
Yep.
I I think people think anything to do with anything that the kids do,
Yeah.
anything that the little teens do, it's a fad.
Mm,
I think that's the problem is that no one is taking these things seriously because again, I was a millennial when Facebook and Instagram was at the height and all I had was my boomer boss saying that's
sure.
going to be gone. That's
Right.
a fad. And I remember when Facebook entered the stock market at $17 a share, my husband and I bought a ton of shares and we had friends that were like y'all are so stupid. Like
Right.
that's nothing in 5 years and we were like okay, like we'll see. Again, this is what I'm saying is that
Right.
like I think just because younger people like something,
Wow.
all the older people think it's a fad. I have never thought that. When younger people like something, I'm researching it because I know those kids are going to be adults one day
Sure.
and they're going to want to use it, right? Like, where are the
Absolutely.
restaurants they're going to? What are they into? I need to know about this because that's who's going to be making these purchasing decisions when they get older. So I wish older people and let's be honest, you and I are in higher ed. A lot of these people are a lot older and they don't
Abs-
see the value in looking at younger kids. And I do. That's the difference. And
right.
that will always be the difference between me and other people is that
Okay.
I will look at a 5-year-old and be like obsessed with how they're looking at a phone and how they're touching buttons and what that's going to
Sure.
mean for their future.
Right. So, is it safe to say that you think the transition that higher ed really needs to make is just meeting the consumer where they are?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Marketing wise, admissions wise, and curriculum wise. We need
Absolutely.
to be giving these people what exactly what they're looking for. And if you're worried about your school, if enrollment is lower, I would start asking those exact questions. Who should I be enrolling? And am I speaking their language? Does my marketing speak to them? Does my admissions team speak to them? And does my curriculum satisfy them so much that when they graduate, they're going to brag about this program all over their TikTok, which will flood in more people.
Sure.
This is another thing that's bothering me is like referrals should be up across the board in every single institution. Referrals should be off the hook because today in 2025, we have reviews on Google, on Facebook, on Yelp. Like people can leave public reviews. People go on TikTok and share everything from what they're eating for dinner to who they're dating to what they're doing every day. Like referrals across the board should be up. And every time I talk to schools, they're down. That's a
Absolutely.
problem.
Yeah. No, it's interesting that you make that point because some admissions representatives will even enter fake referrals, right? And it's like I know to a person like you, like, but why when there's so many different avenues and ways for you to actually
Yeah.
get real referrals that are going to help you help people? Yeah,
But the key to a great referral, and don't miss this, the key to a great referral is stellar education. That's all
absolutely.
you need. You don't need your admissions team begging these people for the names of
Yep.
all their friends and, hey, who do you know that would make a
Right.
great student? You don't need to do that. Not in 2025, you don't. If you
Right.
have stellar education, people will brag about it. They will go online. And if they're not, you need to ask yourself why they're not.
Got it. So let me ask you this. Let's fast forward 2, 3 years from now. We used to say 5, 10, right? But with
Things
AI
change
and
so much. Yeah, who knows?
absolutely. What does higher ed look like 2, 3 years from now? Marketing, admissions, curriculum, or what should it look like?
It should be all encompassing. It shouldn't just be narrowed down to the field you're studying. It should
Okay.
be ways that people can make income in other areas, generally online. The whole
Sure.
point of school is to get a job so you can get to work, right? That's what we
Yep.
always say. Get educated so you can get a job and get to work. Get educated so you can get a job and get to work. That's what we
Yep.
all say. That is why today institutions exist. But do you mean it? Do you
Mm,
really want them to get to work? Because if you did, you would be finding ways to teach them other ways to build their income. And
mm,
today, the stats are showing over 40% of people have side hustles. And I'm not asking your students to go out and just DoorDash. Again, they can make a lot of money online. And I know that because I do.
right.
And this year, my TikTok income has well surpassed my full-time job income. It is my
Wow.
primary source of income. And that's why I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate because I'm like, it's actually really easy to make money online. And I don't know why we're not teaching kids how to do it because they can do it for
Right.
all careers.
Right. It's almost like, and not even almost like you're saying instead of kids taking out more loans and things like that to pay tuition, what if they were able to figure out ways to supplement income that they could use to pay their tuition? I love
And
it.
what if you had a program that told them that? Because, kids are, what if you said, when you come to our school, not only are we going to teach you financial literacy and your program, but we are going to teach you ways to build your skill level online so that you can make more money even while you're in school. Are
Yeah,
you kidding me? Who wouldn't want
absolutely.
that?
Like, 'cause I know a lot of schools that do career development, right? What if that was part of the career development program, or what if there was another program online development, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm picking up exactly what you're laying down here. This is awesome. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, let's talk a little bit about AI and higher ed, right? How do you think
Okay.
about that? Are you
Yeah.
excited about it? Are you nervous about it?
AI doesn't
Especially,
scare me. Yeah, I will
okay,
tell AI does not scare me. I know it scares a lot of people.
sure,
I think I was one of the first people to even jump on a chat GPT trend. I mean,
sure,
2 years ago, it planned my entire summer vacation. So I have always been a lover of AI from the beginning. Now, of course, can things go crazy? Sure.
right.
Like can things feel like it doesn't have a human element to it? Sure. But I don't know if you saw this past week, an influencer became really famous overnight at Wimbledon. Did you see this?
I think I saw a little bit of it.
It was AI. It was an AI influencer.
Oh
And
wow,
no one could tell that this girl was AI. Crazy.
wow,
And so, of course, people are like, oh, this is inauthentic. What is going on? That's not where my mind is going. My mind is going, I believe that influencers are the future, affiliate marketing is the future. So if you can't find one, create one.
right, right.
This could be huge for schools.
What if you
Yeah,
could
I
create
am
an
very,
army of
very
them?
pro AI.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's good stuff. So listen, um, where can my audience find you? Are you on Instagram, LinkedIn? Let them know how they can reach out to you.
Sure. The best place to find me professionally is on LinkedIn. So I share pretty much daily tips for marketing, for admissions. I do a monthly webinar series that's very popular. for beauty schools, but also now I keep having non-beauty school people join. So it's really open to everyone. So for sure, follow me on LinkedIn, just my name, Jen with two N's, Jenn Lyles. And then TikTok is another public platform you can find me on, but there I primarily focus on affiliate marketing.
Sure.
So I do TikTok shop. I recommend products. My main niche there is fashion. Like I share this shirt and then people can buy it. So
Right.
if you want to buy my clothes, go over to TikTok.
Nice. Yeah, you're doing it all. Listen, Jen, I appreciate you joining us and making some time for us. We'll definitely probably try to have you back in the future, if you can squeeze us in with your busy schedule.
Sure. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.